Hello everybody, and welcome to the channel. It is officially the holiday season, and what better way to start off the holiday season by talking about one of the classic Thanksgiving movies directed by the late great John Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, we're going to be discussing the classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so stick around. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Noah, and I love to talk about movies, so if you guys like to talk about movies as well, go ahead and hit subscribe for me down below. Join me for the holiday season as we sort of just relax and discuss some of our favorite holiday movies, because the holidays for me is my favorite time of year. I absolutely love Christmas. I love Christmas movies, and we're going to be doing a lot of those, but it's going to be a really busy holiday season, man. We got a bunch of new releases coming out next month, and we also got a lot of classic movies that I want to review on this channel. So and if you guys don't want to miss any of that, go ahead and turn on post notifications down below so you guys can be updated every time I make a video. So again, join me for the holiday season as we're going to be discussing a bunch of classic holiday movies just like this one we're going to be discussing today. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is directed by John Hughes. He's the filmmaker behind movies like The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles. Particularly my favorite is going to be Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and that's what introduced me to his work. The movie follows a man named Neil Page, played by Steve Martin, trying to get home to his family for Thanksgiving when he meets the annoying but good-hearted Del Griffith, played by John Candy. This is one of those movies that I experienced way too late. I think that a lot of people who have watched this movie grew up with this movie watching it around the Thanksgiving time. For me, I didn't watch this movie until maybe last year, but because I watched it so late, I think that I was able to kind of experience really how good of a movie this was, because yes, it is a comedy, and you know, they have a bunch of gags and you laugh a lot of through this movie. I think that I was able to appreciate just how good the movie was written, it was paced, the performances, stuff like that. I'm glad I watched the movie at the time that I did. The film is directed so beautifully by John Hughes. I think that the pacing is just immaculate, just like the rest of his movies. He really knows when to end a scene, and he knows when to transition into the next. And because this is a comedy movie, I never once felt that this joke was going on too long, or you know, this would have been funny if it was longer, stuff like that. John Hughes really knows how to direct a movie, and everything just flows together nicely. John Hughes also wrote the film, and it's a terrific script. He really knew how to write characters who sounded like human beings, who sounded like normal people, and not just actors reading lines off of a page. Everything felt natural, and that's something that I've always noticed about John Hughes movies, is that he kind of knows just how people work. He understands humanity and why people do certain things, and I think that's why I love his movies so much. And not only is this just a holiday movie, this is a movie with a lot of depth behind it, and that comes from John Candy. John Candy's character really is the heart and soul to this movie, I think. It doesn't really matter what he does, you're gonna love him just because he's like this child inside of a man's body, and John Candy played it perfectly. Steve Martin plays opposite of John Candy, and as I said, Candy is the heart and soul of the movie, so it would be so easy for Steve Martin to get outshined, but he doesn't. Steve Martin is one of those actors that I think that I wanted to delve deeper into his filmography more, specifically because of his show that he did with Martin Short and Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building, and I absolutely love that show. And then after watching his performance in this movie, I believe that I have to just, it's apparent that I have to watch more Steve Martin. And what really separates this movie for me involves Candy's character, Del. And I'm going to kind of get into spoilers here, but the movie is over 30 years old, so I mean, spoiler alert. But this is just one of those spoilers that I think that knowing it beforehand, it really makes you look at the movie in a different lens, and that's what I love. So Hughes wrote Del Griffith as a man selling shower curtain rings because his wife passed away 8 years prior. And he was very reluctant and grateful to spend the time that he did with Neil because he's lonely. And this one definitely hit me a little harder because at the end of the movie, Neil invites Del to Thanksgiving at his home, and you know, John Candy doesn't say anything during this scene. He says like one or two things, but really all of his emotions are coming from John Candy's performance and his body language. And I think that's what hit the most for me. And especially now knowing that John Candy has passed away, it hits even harder. It's a beautiful ending to the movie. It really adds a lot of depth to the film that was kind of just a road trip buddy comedy. I think that's what John Hughes does amazingly, is he is able to add layers to different characters in his movies. So guys, I really do love this movie. I think it's a classic. I should have watched it a lot earlier in my life, but I'm glad I watched it when I did. I definitely recommend watching this one for Thanksgiving. It is a great Thanksgiving movie. I want to thank you guys for sticking around and discussing this movie with me. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And if you guys are liking the content that I'm putting out. The holiday season is kicking off, and we're going to be very, very busy talking about new movies and classic movies all throughout the rest of the year. So stay tuned for that. If you guys get a chance to, comment down below what you guys think of the movie, and let me know what I should review next. I got a big list, and I'm going to get through them, but I know that there's some gems out there that I still don't even know about, so let me know down below. Anyways, guys, happy holidays. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.